Hello, bonjour. My name is Paulo de Castro Reis, and I'm the Executive Director of CCBC. Welcome to the first Brazilian Week CCBC Online Festival, a digital event organized by the Chamber of Commerce Brasil-Canada, also known as CCBC, in partnership with the Brazilian Embassy in Canada and the consulates in Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver, and sponsored by Air Canada. The festival presents more than 20 webinars covering three main areas: business opportunities, innovation, and Brazilian culture. Besides, the Brazilian Week website offers free access to more than 200 cultural contents. I would like to start this session by calling Marcelo Maia, Financial Administrative Director of the Brazilian Franchise Association, to moderate this session. Welcome, Marcelo.
Thank you, Paulo. Thank you. It's very nice to see you again. And thank you for the invitation for joining this meeting with the Câmara de Comércio Brasil-Canada. It's really a pleasure for us to be here together with all of you and trying to explain a little bit more about the Brazilian franchising sector. We have a presentation. I would ask you if we can share the slides in the screen. Just a minute. Okay, thank you, Luisa. Well, first of all, we are the Brazilian Franchising Association. We are the second largest franchising associations in the world. It's an association that was established in 1987. If we can go to the next slide, please. The next one. We were established in 1987. We are a non-profit organization with a mission to disseminate, protect, and promote the technical and institutional development of the franchising business model in Brazil. We have more than 1,200 members, and in our members we have not only franchisors but also franchisees, suppliers, consultants, and service providers, all of them related to the franchising sector in Brazil. The next one, please. Just to share with you some numbers about the Brazilian franchising sector, we have revenues of 46, there are numbers of 2019. We have a revenue of $46 billion, which represents a growth of 6.8% comparing 2019 to 2018. We have 160,000 establishments that represents a growth of 4.7% comparing to 18. In terms of job, we have employed, in terms of direct jobs, we have 1,300,000 jobs in the franchising sector. That represents 4.6%. And we have almost 3,000 brands in Brazil. We can say also additional information that we represent around 2% of the GDP, the Brazilian GDP, with a large participation in all of the issues related to the public policies, in a very strong relationship with the Brazilian government and also with the state governors in terms of policies in order to make franchising stronger and to grow the sector in Brazil. In the next slide, we can see the division of the franchising sector between the sectors that we have inside of the franchising. We have food service with the largest part of our franchising revenues. It's more or less similar to what happens in other countries. But we have also in the second place the sector of healthy beauty and well-being. It's our second largest sector inside franchising, and it's very strong in Brazil, and it has been growing a lot for the last years. And so we have in this chart one division between the sector inside of the franchising, and is also to show you how we divided the sector in Brazil in terms of subsectors inside franchising. Can we go to the next one? In this next slide, we try to compare the evolution of the Brazilian GDP compared to the franchising sector. We have been having higher growth year by year comparing to the growth of the Brazilian GDP. If we go to the 2008, 2009, it was really very much higher than the Brazilian GDP growth. And now we still have a growth above the Brazilian GDP. And what it represents that the Brazilian entrepreneurs, they like to choose the franchising sector to invest, and they like to use the franchising sector as an option in order to have a higher growth and higher revenues. And so we can see many people investing in franchising sector in Brazil. Some of them related to a simple investment, and some of them in terms of trying to have like a second revenue besides a formal job. So we see the franchising sector as a very safe place to invest in Brazil, and people are using year by year much more the franchising sector to invest their savings and to use it as a distribution channel for their product and their services. Telling something more about internationalization. When we look at the Brazilian franchising sector, we have nowadays 214 brands, foreign brands operating in Brazil. This brand comes from 30 countries, so we have a representation of 30 countries in the Brazilian franchising sector today. If we go to the next slide, we can show you that the top countries, that's a list of where does this brand comes from. So US has the largest number of brands in the Brazilian franchising sector. So we have 81 American brands operating in the Brazilian franchising sectors. The second one is Portugal, due to our relationship and of course, to the facility of the language. We have 22 Portuguese brands operating in Brazil. And the next one is Spain, Italy, UK, Argentina, France, and Canada. Canada, we have 7 brands operating right now in Brazil in the franchising sector. And in the next slides, we can see the brands that are the Canadian brands that nowadays has operations in Brazil. The Mad Science Group, Sweet Beginnings, Maple Bear, a very well-known school in Brazil, Canada Intercâmbio, Pita Pit, Yoga Frus, and WSI Brazil. These are the 7 franchisors that has operations in Brazil nowadays. There are the 7 Canadian franchisors that has operations in Brazil nowadays. In the next slide, we try to show a timeline with the key milestones that we could see in the last year. The beginning of the 60s, we have the emergence of the first franchising English schools. The first franchising operations in Brazil was English schools that start to operate in Brazil in the beginning of the 60s. If we go ahead, in the 80s, we have the launch of the Brazilian franchising organization, and the franchising sector saw a huge growth starting on the beginning of the 80s. In 1987, we have the establishment of the ABF, the Brazilian Franchising Operation. And another important date for the franchising sector in Brazil is 1994, when we first enacted the first franchising law. In Brazil, there are only few countries in the world that has their specific franchising law, and Brazil is one of that. Nowadays, Brazil is a benchmark in terms of a very regulated, a very well developed, and a very well used franchising law. This law was first enacted in 1994, and last year, in 2019, we have a new franchising law. This new franchising law became effective in December of 2019. The law is the law 13966. It was revoked and it replaced the former 1994 law. This new law, it was very important for us in the Brazilian franchising sector because it adapts the former law to the current characteristics, because we have a lot of change since 1994 for today. So in terms of the types of franchising that are operation, the emergence of services franchising and other sectors that starts to use franchising as a distribution channel for their products and services. So it's another important milestone that happens to us last year that brings more safety in terms of stabilization, in terms of the whole justice, and the whole in terms of taxes, in terms of the relationship between franchisors and franchisees, in terms of how we can use this law between these 27 states that we have in Brazil. So it was a very important mark, and it's an important milestone that happens last year. Going to the next slide, we just point some important points from the legal aspects of the new franchising law. This new franchising law, it regulated all the franchising system in Brazil. It applies to all franchising brands installed in the Brazilian territory. It imposes the delivery of the Brazilian franchise offering circular that we call here in Brazil coffee. It's similar to the franchising disclosure document, FDD, which covers complete information on franchisor history, franchisees contracts, business terms and conditions, among many others legal informations. And last but not least, it protects franchisees' rights and clarifies both franchisor and franchisees' responsibilities. We are sharing with all of you in this slide. If you have interest, you can take a look in the Brazilian federal government portal. It has all the information about this law that was revoked in December of last year. It's a very complete law, and we are using this law as a benchmark and trying to help other countries in the world that are asking us to help them to create their own law in their countries. So why set up a business in Brazil? Why we understand that Brazil could be a safe place and a very interesting place to set up a business, an international business. First of all, Brazil is the largest country in South America, and it is the ninth economy in the world. The Brazilian franchise has stood out year after year, despite the challenging period for country's economy. We have some decrease in our economy in the last year. We were projecting to have an economic growth in 2020, but unfortunately, due to the pandemic, we of course, as all of other countries in the world, we are not going to have a growth. We are going to have a decrease in the GDP this year. But we project that next year, we are going to restart our curve of growing economy, and all of the indexes, all of the economic index projects that in 2021, we are going to return our curve of economic growing. We have also a consolidated and regulated franchising system. As we told in the last slide, we have a franchising law since 1994. This law was renovated, so we have a new franchising law since last year. This new franchising law is a very modern, is a law that applies to the current franchising system. Is a law that we can we have a history of using this law to regulate all of the relationship between franchisors and franchisees. And it's very safe for a foreign brand to come to Brazil and to use the umbrella of this law in order to understand the Brazilian system, and how is the points, how is the terms in how is all the terms related to the jobs, related to labor, related to taxes, related to all the points that are necessary to better understand the Brazilian franchising system. And the Brazilian Franchising Association, ABF, provides tools to support foreign brands on finding a local partners. The Brazilian Franchising Association, nowadays, we are the second largest franchising association in the world. And we have an international department inside of the Brazilian Franchising Association that is ready to support all of the foreign brands that wants to have a local operation in Brazil. We have also a partnership with Apex. Apex is an agency that is in charge of attract foreign brands to Brazil. It belongs to the federal government, and we have an official contract with Apex to promote and to attract foreign brands to Brazil. And inside of this partnership, we have all of these tools to support foreign brands in all of the terms, and also to support in finding a local partner. We understand that finding a local partner is an important step to establish a foreign brand in Brazil. And we are here at ABF at all of your disposal to talk about this tool and to use our partnership with the Brazilian federal government to support the foreign brands on finding a local partner and all of the other challenges that we have when you decide to internationalize your brand. We are sharing also in this slide all of the portals that belongs to the federal government, and and where we can find all of the information related to the partnership between ABF and Apex, and all of the information that explains how we can work together with the foreign brands to have an operation and a safe and a well operation in Brazil. Well, so thank you very much. I'm going to be here at your disposal to explain a little bit more. And now I'm going to pass to my next colleague that's going to talk a little bit more.
Thank you very much, Marcelo. Congratulations for your presentation. I'm Marcelo Carvalho. I am co-president of Ancar Ivanhoe, which is one of the largest and pioneers shopping mall developers in Brazil. We've been in this industry since 1971. Could you pass my slide, please? My presentation, please. Thank you. Next slide, please. Next. So, first of all, an overview of the Brazilian industry of shopping centers. The first shopping center established in Brazil was in 1966 in the city of São Paulo. So we are a 55-year-old industry. And one of the important things about the Brazilian industry is that since the beginning, the fundamentals of the industry were based on the North American model. We could say that we copied the North American model of developing shopping centers in Brazil. The same fundamentals, the same structure, which helped us a lot in the development of the industry. After 55 years, we are an industry with 193 billion real of sales per year on 577 malls in operation. Those malls are ones that we consider shopping centers, real shopping centers, with the basic fundamentals of a shopping center, which is basically the stores are leased, the mall is planned and developed by one single entity, one property owner, and with some fundamentals exactly the same as the North American and the European ones. With 16.8 million square meters of GLA, we have presence in 227 cities with an average size of 28.8 thousand square meters of size. In 1976, a group of entrepreneurs developed ABRACE, which is the Brazilian Association of Shopping Centers, which helped a lot develop the concept throughout Brazil. So again, since the beginning, the fundamentals were well done, based on the best practice of United States and Canada, which helped a lot us in the future to attract capital to expand the industry throughout the country. Next slide, please. So nowadays, this is the way that the industry is spread throughout Brazil. The biggest concentration is in the southeast region of the country with 300 malls between Rio, São Paulo, and Minas Gerais, the three largest states of the Southeast. A large concentration also in the Northeast and South. But it is spread throughout Brazil. Next slide, please. We can detail a little bit how it is developed. You have the division between mega malls, 8%, regional malls, medium and small mall shopping centers. I could say that the industry in Brazil, different from United States, started in the capitals, the biggest cities, and then went to the interior of the country. In the United States, as far as I know, was the opposite. Started in the suburbs of the cities and then went to the urban cities. This is a particularity of Brazil. In terms of specialized shopping centers, you have the outlet shopping centers, the theme shopping centers, and also the lifestyle shopping centers. Next slide, please. So these are how they are divided. You can see how important is the Brazilian market. We have 17 cities over 1 million people. Between 1 million and 10 million people inhabitants, we have 17 cities. We have one city with more than 10 million people, São Paulo. And we have 5,500 municipalities, and the shopping centers have presence in 227 cities of Brazil. Next slide. This is just to give an idea how important is this industry to the Brazilians. Almost more than 2 times the total population of Brazilians visit shopping centers per month. So we have an average of 500 million visits per month in the shopping centers of Brazil. Next. This is a chart that explains a little bit of the differences, the particularities of the Brazilian industry compared to United States. So normally Brazilians go 7 days per month to a shopping center, which is almost 2 times what the Americans do. They go to shopping centers to basically have a good experience. Not only to buy things, but to have an experience to go to a restaurant, to go to a cinema, to participate in an event. You have also a presence of services, all types of services you can find in Brazilian shopping centers. We don't have those big department stores. Our anchor stores are normally either junior department stores, can be a CNA, Riachuelo, Renner store, or it can be a hypermarket compared to those big department stores that you have in the United States. In Brazil, around 22% of the retail sales are done in shopping centers compared to 54% in the United States. So we do have, I think we do have space to grow compared to other markets. And around the conversion rate is higher than in the United States. It's 63% compared to 50%. So in this graphic on the right side above, you see that in the last years, 2017, 2018, 19, you have a decrease in the opening of new shopping centers, and basically was because of the crisis that the Brazilian economy faced. But it still has growth, has space to grow. It's still industry that is growing. With a participation of 22% of sales compared to to United States with 54%, Canada with 60 something percent. So we do have space to grow, and we think that this is going to happen, even though with the changes and the challenges that we are facing nowadays because of the pandemic. Next slide, please. Now talking about a little bit about our company. We are a traditional developer in Brazil. We've been in this industry since 1971. And we were a typical family business from 1971 up to 2006, when we did a joint venture with one of the largest institutional investors, one of the largest real estate companies of Canada, Ivanhoe Cambridge, which is the real estate division of Caisse de Dépôt in Placement of Quebec. So we changed the name of the company. We became Ancar Ivanhoe. And since 2006, we went from 5 shopping centers up to 26 shopping centers in our portfolio nowadays. We have other partners now. We have local partners. We have also other institutional investors as partners or companies that we provide services. I'll give an example of CPPIB, is also a Canadian pension plan, which is our partner in few properties. We provide services to Brookfield portfolio in Brazil, which has PSP, PCIMC, and there are other international Canadian investors also in this market. You have Cadillac Fairview with associated with Multiplan. So I would say that from a single family owned business, we became a partner of a big international fund, which helped a lot the growth of our portfolio, and helped a lot also our division of providing services to other investors. Next slide, please. So this is a picture of how we are divided. We have malls in all regions of Brazil, with the largest concentration in Rio and São Paulo. We are in GLA, we are the 3rd largest operator of Brazil, with more than 1.1 million square meters of GLA, 17.4 billion reais in sales, more than 4,600 tenants in our portfolio. A great majority of those tenants are in the franchise system, which so I could say that the franchise system and the shopping center business in Brazil, they go very much aligned, they go together. One depends on the other to grow. We have more than 1,000 kiosks and 48 million flow of vehicles that reach our parking lots last year. Next slide, please. This is a picture that represents nowadays the challenges that we are facing, which is the transformation of the industry, a typical real estate industry, into this digital transformation. So we have the challenge of connecting the inventory of our tenants to marketplaces, to applicatives and sites, websites. This is a lot of players are doing this to access the inventory. We provide a lot of experiences, interactive experiences in the malls. I would say that this is one of very important characteristic of Brazilian industry of shopping centers. Brazilians go to shopping centers not only to buy things, but to entertain themselves. They feel safe in our malls. They bring their families. It's an environment where you feel very well. So there is nowadays there is a big effort of integrating our tenants to marketplaces, providing other experience, digital experience. WhatsApp is also another very important component of communication in Brazil. So vendors communicating to customers through WhatsApp, try to integrate the inventory to the sales, and also delivering the merchandise in the home of our customers, or providing food lockers, providing systems to help the people pick up their merchandise in the malls. This is a very important shift. I'll show you some pictures. You go ahead, you can continue. Some pictures of, this is an example of a shopping center in Rio de Janeiro. We transformed an old factory from 1920 into a shopping center with a very strong presence of bars and restaurants facing outside and even inside the center to provide this type of experience. Next. This is our first shopping center that we developed in 1971. This shopping center is right beside the largest bus station of Brasilia. So it's became a central business district of Brasilia. We have more than 300 stores, plus 400 offices above the shopping center. It is a real central business district of Brasilia. It's a very successful shopping center since 1971. Next slide. It's a picture of the mall inside, even though it's 1971 shopping mall. It's very well, the conservation of the centers, the materials that we use. We did already 2 retrofits of this mall to keep it in good shape. Next slide, please. Next slide is our last development. This mall opened 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. This is in a quarry. We transform a quarry in one city of Brazil, and we could attach a shopping center in a very well located quarry of one suburb of Rio de Janeiro. It's a very successful shopping center. Next slide, please. This is a picture of the food court with a stage at the end. So we do a lot of entertainment in the areas of the mall. This is a particularity of Brazil, where people go to the mall not only to buy things to do meals, but also to entertain themselves. Go ahead. Next slide, please. This is another example of a Brazilian development. It's a shopping center in São Paulo, attached to the subway system of São Paulo, and also a bus station. It's a very successful shopping center that we managed. Go ahead, next slide. The picture of the food court. Next. And the end of this is the first shopping center of Porto Alegre. It's one of our malls of our portfolio. It's a mixed use of a shopping center and office tower. It's a very successful mall, a 35-year-old shopping center that has already had 3 expansions and one of the best shopping centers of the country. Next slide. It's an example of a picture. I think that's it. I understand that in 15 minutes I gave an overview of the industry, and I'm more than happy to share any other information requested. Thank you. I would pass to my colleague Adriana, which will tell a little bit the other side of the shopping center, the tenant view of the mall. Welcome, Adriana.
Thank you, Marcelo. Thank you. And good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I'd like to apologize for my English and my terrible accent, but I'll try my best to make it work. I'll pass some slides here. Just a moment. Okay, great. Just a second. Can you see the slides? Yeah. Is it working? Can you see the slides?
No.
No.
No, not yet, not yet.
I think someone needs to liberate for me. Is it working now?
Now it's working, Adriana.
Okay, so I'll go. Well, I'm very happy to be here talking to you about two things that I love, franchising and Brazil. Actually, it's three things because I also love nut Bavarian, and I will use this case as a background for talking about the Brazilian franchising. And 25 years ago, I was seduced by this delicious smell during a basketball game in Orlando, Florida. And in the United States, the Nut Bavarian is not a franchising business. They have licenses and they sell this roasted machine, and they also sell the raw products, the nuts and a syrup made with cinnamon. And well, we love the product and we took it to Brazil. We actually signed a contract, a licensing contract, and we bought the syrup formula and the exclusivity for the roaster and the roaster machine for Brazil. So they could not sell the machine for anybody else in Brazil. And then we start to develop a new business there. I say there because I'm not in Brazil right now. I'm in Portugal today, so I'm not in Brazil. But we start the new business there. And the first kiosk was in Campos do Jordão, that it's a very touristic city during winter season, and it was a huge success. But Brazilians were not used to eating nuts as a snack in 1996. We only ate nuts, sweet nuts, like in cakes, Christmas cakes, and things like that. So people didn't know what we were selling. We were selling a product that nobody knew. We didn't even have a word in Portuguese for nuts, the group of almond, cashews, pecans. There was no translation for that. And we still don't have a word for that, but at least nowadays people knows what nuts means. We use the word in English. So we participate in a lot of events, shows, festivals to make the product known, always giving a lot of free sample. So they try the product, they feel the smell, they love the smell, and then they buy our products. One of our first kiosks in shopping centers were in Shopping Eldorado. Shopping Eldorado is from Ankar, Marcelo's group. It's a very nice mall, and we are still there until now. It's a very nice place. And one thing that helped us to promote the brand and the product was the airports. We had a few places inside the main airports of São Paulo, and after that also in other big cities, important cities in Brazil. But we had to adapt our business. We call it tropicalization. It's doing some adaptations for our countries. And one of the adaptations was the size of the package. We wanted to be more affordable for everybody. The nuts are very expensive in Brazil, so smaller sizes would make them easier to sell. We put some smaller sizes, larger sizes for for everybody, for all the pockets. We also reduced the sugar. We thought the original formula was too sweet for us. And we introduced some Brazilian nuts, also macadamias, peanuts, coconuts, cashews. We wanted to have something that Brazilian knows, and also to have something that is produced in Brazil and not depend on the imported nuts, because sometimes the dollar can go very high from one day to another, and we wanted to take this kind of care. And we start to promote also the nutrition facts, because back then, I'm talking about 20, 25 years ago, the Brazilians didn't know that almond is the most nutritional natural food in the world. They thought the product was fatty and not healthy, and we were used to listen to things like, oh, I love the product, but I'm not gonna buy it because it's gonna make me fat, or it's not so good for my health. So we promoted more this nutrition fat so they could eat without feeling guilty. And we also changed the control system to avoid waste of goods. And we even changed the logo. The first logo here, the one with the can you see my cursor? I don't know how to say this word in English, this thing here.
Yes, you can.
Yeah, in the left is the American logo, and in the right is the Brazilian logo. We also did a lot of adaptations in our kiosks during the year. The first one in the top, this red one here, was exactly the same as the American one with the name in the front of the cart. But the Nutty Bavarian means nothing in Portuguese. And the people started to think that we were selling beer because there is a beer called Bavaria. So we changed it. I took it out. We put a picture of the product in front of the cart, and the sales doubled. And then after a few years, we did another change. We put like an open display, a hot display, so they could choose the nuts that they wanted. We were showing the product to them, and it kept the product warm. And also when we did that, the sales doubled again. What else? Here. And in the United States, until now, they sell the product already closed in the cone, inside the cone. So if you go to a Nutty Bavarian, an American Nutty Bavarian cart, you will ask for a cone of almonds or a cone of pecans. They just work with these two kind of nuts. We have like 12 kind of nuts. And they are closed inside a warmer, but they are closed. And here in Brazil, we can mix all the flavors and you can make your own package. And it also helps us with Anvisa and in Metro. I don't know how to explain this in English, but Anvisa is a kind of national health agency, and in Metro is an institute that inspects measurements of products. I don't know if I use the right words, but that's something that if you are planning to have a business in Brazil, you should spend some time trying to understand their rules, because they have a lot of rules, different rules from places to places, from states to states, and it will give you a hard time to understand everything. And for us, this kind of operation made it easier for them. And unfortunately, we also had to reduce the smell that our nut makes during the process. So we could enter in places where the smell were not allowed. So we reduce the flavor in the syrup formula, and we create a container to keep the steam inside. Our smell, it's very famous in Brazil, sometimes not in a good way when you are inside a shopping center, because it's not anymore, but it was very strong. It's very good, very nice. People love it, but it was strong, and then we reduce it so it's not as strong anymore. And now we have kiosks all around Brazil, in malls, airports, pet centers, transportation centers, subway station, most of them with franchisees. Those are our franchisees during a convention last year. A few of them are still closed because of the pandemic, but we hope to reopen them soon. We are now with almost all the places already open. And why did we choose franchising instead of like licensees or having our own places? First, because we wanted to grow fast. It was a totally new product and a new concept, so we wanted to occupy the space before anyone could copy the idea. Brazil is very big, and the travel cost, if we had a personal kiosk and we want to go from city to city, like we open in Belém or in Porto Alegre, for example, the price to operate there wouldn't be worth. And we have different cultures in different regions of Brazil, and the franchisee knows better how to talk to them, knows their culture better than us. And we have like a lot of Brazils inside Brazil, and we know that they would talk to the people better than us. And there is also a tax issue that you have to consider. It's what we call simples. it's also going to be hard for me to explain in English, but it's something that you have to pay attention if you are planning to go to Brazil. Simples is like a category of taxes that allows small companies to pay less taxes in a much easier way. So for a lot of small business, we are only viable because of this. And that's something you should learn before you go to Brazil. Our tax system, it's very peculiar. About franchising law, we also have a very strong franchising law. Marcelo already talked about it. And it gives security to both parts, franchisors and franchisees. And the law says that the franchisor must give the candidate, before signing the franchising contract, a document that we call COFFE. Marcelo talked about it also. COFFE is our Circular de Oferta de Franquia, something similar to the FDD, the franchising disclosure document that they have in USA. And there's all the rules of the business, what kind of support the franchisor are gonna give, what kind of training, and the list of all the franchisees, so you can call them and ask how is the business and things like that. And it makes the process very clear and very professional. And at Nutty Bavarian, we gave a lot of support to our franchisees. We have trainings and IT support, operation, communication with the network. And because of that, we received the ABF award for 15 years in a row. We have, I don't know the word in English, in Portuguese we call it Selo de Excelência ABF. It's like an excellent stamp, maybe something like that, that every year ABF does a research with their franchisees, and the company that gets good grades receive this award. And we received this year for the 15th time. We are very happy for that. And just a few more facts about our company. We also sell for food service, so restaurants can use our nuts inside their recipes. We also sell the products in company, inside office. We have small carts to events, festivals. And we use delivery like iFood. iFood is something similar to Uber Eats. We are partner of them right now. And during the pandemic, we put a lot of effort to develop this channel since all our kiosks were closed, at least during 2 months. So we try to work hard with delivery. We also have our e-commerce. We started it during the pandemic, but it still doesn't sell so much. We are working on it to make it better, to try to sell more, but it's there. We are online. And we sell our products in digital marketplaces like Amazon Brazil and Mercado Livre. Mercado Livre is the biggest one in Brazil right now, and we are there with our products. And we have partnerships and co-branding with other companies, other brands. Some of them are also franchising companies. We have ice creams, chocolates, cakes, a lot of products with our nuts on it. Some of them use our brand, others just buy our products and put inside the products. And if you go to Brazil, you have to try this Bacio de Lattes ice cream, the one in the bottle here. It's delicious. They have like a macadamia ice creams with our macadamia on it. It's very, very good. And also during the pandemic, we started selling our products in supermarket, convenience stores, drug stores, hotel, cafeterias, can shops, a lot of places. I hope to be inside Gia. Gia is the one from Marcelo Maia. I hope to be there soon. And we are still in some big supermarkets. The one in the bottle here, this one, it's Sam's Club. I think you have Sam's Club in Canada, so you must know this place. We sell very well there. And with that, we sell about 2 tons of nuts per day. And I told you that I met the product in the United States. We bought the formula, we signed a contract of licensing. And 20 years after that, the American Nutty Bavarian invited us to open some carts there of our model of working. The way that we work in Brazil, they wanted to take the business there. So we did. We went back there. By coincidence, we opened some carts in the same city that I met the product, that it was Orlando, Florida. And we have those carts there. And it has been a very nice experience. In the US, we operate as a licensee of the American Nut Bavarian with our concept of selling. But we buy the raw material, the raw nuts, and the electric machine from the American Nut Bavarian. And we hope to open soon some kiosks in Canada, maybe. Let's see. But until then, if you want to try our products, you can go to Amazon.com and look for our international brand, the Magic Bavarian Nuts, and you can shop online and we send it to Canada. I hope you love this product as much as I do. I invite you all to try it. So, doing business in Brazil. If you are thinking about doing business in Brazil, you have to deal with the bureaucracy, the labor laws that are very difficult to understand, the accounting system that will probably drives you crazy, but you will find receptive people. Brazilians like to try new products, we accept new concepts. You will find a friendly country, a place of opportunities, and we have a very well formatted and professional franchising system. We have the second largest franchising association. We have the largest franchising portal in the world. We have the largest franchising show in the world. And we have great malls, excellent shopping centers. Am I right, Marcelo? And the weather there in Brazil is also incredible. So thank you.
Oh, agora eu posso. Consegui imprimir.
So thank you, Adriana. So I'd like to say congratulations for Marcelo Carvalho. Very nice presentation, very helpful for us to understand the shopping center. Thank you, Adriana. Congratulations for the presentation. Very nice, and thank you, and congratulations for your business history. So I'd like to say thank you for the Câmara de Comércio Brasil-Canadá, and congratulations for the festival. Thank you, Paulo. It's very nice to talk to you again, and thank you again for the invitation, and congratulations for the festival.
Thank you very much, Marcelo and Marcelo and Adriana. It was a great presentation. We hope to see more Canadian brands bringing their products here to Brazil in our malls, and for Brazilians to experience some of the Canadian products and some of the Canadian franchises. And we'll be available at the chamber to put you in contact with the right connections, like the Brazilian Franchise Association and some other key partners like Ankara Ivanhoe. So thank you very much. And now we move on with our program. We end this session. We're gonna have some videos, promotional videos, and very soon we're gonna start another session about São Paulo Innovation Ecosystem. Hope to see you all enjoying everything that the festival can offer. Thank you once more.
Thank you.
And
bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, thank you.
Aqui no endereço residencial tá QI, Q1.